Every Force-sensitive species in Star Wars has produced a villain. The dark side has a perfect recruiting record. Humans gave us Anakin Skywalker and Emperor Palpatine. The Zabraks gave us Darth Maul and Savage Opress. The Twi'leks gave us Darth Talon, Slayer of Jedi. Even the Hutts, whom Jabba famously said were unaffected by the Jedi mind trick, had one family member fall prey to Sith influence. Beldorian the Hutt. I'm not joking, we looked it up. With one exception.
Destroy the Sith. We must.
One species. 6 members across the entire historical record, spanning over 4,000 years. 0 defections. Not one fall to the dark side. Not one apprentice gone bad. Not one cautionary tale. 6 for 6. Light side. Every time. The Jedi don't talk about it. The Sith don't admit it. George Lucas refuses to explain it. So I'm going to explain it. We're looking at the most successful organized resistance to the dark side in galactic history. A family that has never, across thousands of years, across every war Star Wars has invented, across every temptation the Sith have ever offered, produced a single rat. I'm calling them what they are, the Green Mafia.
If so powerful you are, why leave?
6 made guys, 4,000 years. No defectors. Let's meet the family. We start at the top. Yoda. 900 years old. Trained Jedi for over 8 centuries. The most senior member of the family. Possibly the most senior of any made guy still operating in the galaxy. His record is what you'd expect from someone who's been at the top this long. He watched the Republic crumble. He saw the Senate vote democracy out of existence. And here's the part that should have broken him. He trained Count Dooku, personally, for years. And Dooku flipped, joined the other family. Most bosses lose one capo to the other side. They question everything. Yoda lost the entire order in a single night, to clones he had trained. He didn't crack.
At an end your rule is.
Instead, he fought Emperor Palpatine in the Senate chamber, the most powerful Sith in 1,000 years. Deflected Force lightning back at him, fought him to a draw. And when he realized he couldn't win, he didn't go out in a blaze of glory. He went to the mattresses on a swamp planet for 20 years. That's not failure. That's a boss who understood the long game. You don't beat the other family by dying heroically. You beat them by outlasting them. One down, 0 defectors. Yaddle. Female. Council member. And here's where you really see the family code. Yaddle figured out that Count Dooku had flipped before anyone else. She'd known him for centuries, trained students with him, meditated with him, shared philosophy with him. If you're in this thing for your life, and you find out your old friend has gone to the other side, you alert the council. You mobilize the temple guard. You handle him before he handles you. Yaddle's move? She went alone, sat down with him, tried to bring him back. It did not go well. Dooku killed her. But here's what matters. And this is the family code on full display. Even dying, she didn't curse him. She didn't beg. She didn't make threats. She gave him a teaching, warned him his path led nowhere good. told him the council was wrong about some things, but he was wrong about more. Then she went out, still loyal to the family, dying with omerta, refusing to give the Sith the satisfaction of seeing her break. 2 down, 0 defectors. Now we get to the test case that should have destroyed the entire operation. Grogu, 50 years old. By his species' standards, that makes him basically a kid. This child was in the Jedi Temple during Order 66, watched clone troopers, guys who'd been guarding him since birth, turn around and murder his teachers. The place he learned to walk became a slaughterhouse. Then he got moved around for years, hunted. Eventually captured by Moff Gideon's people, who didn't even see him as a person. They saw a resource to harvest. That's the kind of trauma that creates Sith. Cal Kestis nearly fell from less. Quinlan Vos actually did fall and barely came back. Trauma plus Force sensitivity is the Sith Order's main recruitment pipeline. So what does the kid do? When his protector was charged by a mudhorn, he didn't lash out. He lifted the creature carefully, just long enough to let Din Djarin handle the situation. When Greef Karga, the same bounty hunter who'd been hunting him for profit, was dying from poison, Grogu healed him. No hesitation. No, did this guy earn it? He just healed the guy who had tried to sell him. That's not standard behavior. That's a kid raised right. Now, the kid isn't perfect. He once force-choked one of Cara Dune's friends during an arm wrestling match, thought his protector was getting attacked, so he stepped in. When Ahsoka Tano came to test him, she sensed everything. Fear, anger, attachment. The exact emotions that get a guy made into a Sith. But she also sensed something else. She called him a good boy. Here's what's important. The kid isn't immune. He feels everything any Sith ever felt. The difference is what he does about it. Even at 50 years old, he understands the family code. You protect. You heal. You don't flip. 3 down, 0 defectors. Now we go back. 4,000 years back. Knights of the Old Republic era. Vandar Tokare. Jedi Master at the Dantooine Enclave during the Mandalorian Wars. Here's the situation. Mandalorians are conquering Republic planets. Young Jedi, including future legends Revan and Malak, want to mobilize. Get out there. Fight. Vandar's position? Patience. Wait. The Council needs to understand the full picture before anyone makes a move. This is the family advising restraint. And the young guys did not like it. Republic media painted the Council as cowards. Young Jedi looked at masters like Vandar with barely concealed contempt. Every day of delay meant more deaths. The pressure to act was crushing. But Vandar held the line. He taught patience because he understood something the hotheads didn't. The Jedi who rushed into the Mandalorian Wars? 2 of them became Darth Revan and Darth Malak. The ones who listened to Vandar stayed in the family. He was right. The young guys who didn't trust the boss got recruited by the other side. The ones who did trust him stayed clean. That's not luck. That's a senior guy reading the situation. And he died for it. At Katar's conclave, when Darth Nihilus, a Sith so corrupted he was a wound in the Force itself, showed up and drained the planet of Force-sensitive life, Vandar held out long enough to create Force barriers that helped other Jedi escape. His last act was protecting the family. 4 down, 0 defectors. Same era. Master Oteg, Jedi Master and Republic Fleet Admiral during the Great Galactic War. This one's interesting. Oteg breaks the family pattern in one specific way. He speaks in standard galactic grammar.
The way to navigate the maelstrom is using a Green computer hidden at an Imperial fortress.
No Yoda speak. Talks like a normal person. I don't know why. The species clearly has the option to speak normally. Yoda just chose not to, filing that under unanswered questions. Anyway, Oteg's situation. The Sith Empire is committing atrocities, orbital bombardments of civilians, bioweapons, terror tactics that violate every treaty in galactic history. His own officers, his own people, came to him asking permission to authorize strikes against Sith civilian targets. They had compelling arguments. Shorter war, fewer total deaths. The Sith started it. This is the family being offered an opportunity to operate the way the other family operates. Oteg refused. Every time. He lost battles he could have won. He extended a war he could have ended. Because winning fast required becoming what he was fighting. That's a made guy who understood. The moment you adopt the other family's tactics, you've already lost the war you are trying to win. 5 down, 0 defectors. And finally, the one almost nobody talks about. Around 700 BBY, a young knight of the family. Name was Minch. Dark Jedi were terrorizing the Bash system. Farming colonies, mining outposts, families with no weapons. Minch, barely past his 100th birthday, which makes him roughly a teenager by family standards, went after one of them. Alone. To a remote planet. That planet? Dagobah. The same Dagobah where Yoda would later hide. The cave of evil that Luke entered during his training? Minch made that. His duel with the Dark Jedi was so intense, it permanently scarred the dark side energy of the planet itself. Legends say Minch was emotionally destabilized. He nearly fell. The fight was that close. But he pulled himself back, defeated the Dark Jedi, reported the mission complete, noted the planet's corruption, moved on. No glory speech, no reflection on how close he came, no publicity tour. Mission complete. Family business. Next. That's how this thing works. 6 down, 0 defectors. So we have 6 made guys across 4,000 years, each one in circumstances that historically created Sith Lords. Each one chose the family. Why? The honest answer is, nobody really knows. George Lucas deliberately kept this species mysterious. Their home planet is unknown. Their species name is unknown. We don't know if their species name starts with a vowel, but there are theories. Let me walk you through them. Theory 1. Extended childhood. The family spends roughly 50 years as kids, 5 entire decades absorbing Force energy while having a child's emotional framework. When humans hit 10 or 15 and start dealing with jealousy, ambition, fear of failure, emotions that feed the dark side, they're already Force-sensitive. Their developing power is colliding with adult emotional complexity. The family? They get 50 years of basically being toddlers while the Force flows through them. 50 years of, I'm sad, I want a hug, instead of, I'm sad, I want revenge. By the time they're old enough to be approached by the other family, their light side patterns are locked in. Honestly, compelling. Theory 2. Extreme rarity. Only a handful of members across thousands of years. That's not normal population distribution. That's something deliberate. Some fans theorize the family's home planet is a light side nexus, like how Korriban radiates darkness, or how Mortis exists as a Force convergence. Beings evolved in concentrated light energy might literally be different at the cellular level. Canon doesn't confirm this, but canon doesn't deny it either, which in Star Wars is basically a yes. Theory 3. They show up when needed. Look at the timing. Yoda and Yaddle emerged during the Republic's final centuries, exactly when the Sith were running the grand plan. Vandar and Oteg appeared during desperate Sith wars. Grogu emerged during the New Republic's formation. Every appearance lines up with a galactic crisis between light and dark. I'm just saying. When the other family gets too strong, the Green Mafia shows up.
Even you.
Coincidence? I report, you decide. Here's what I actually think is happening. George Lucas built a species that exists to be the moral center of the Force. They don't have a homeworld because they don't need one. They're not from anywhere. They're an idea. The idea that in a galaxy specifically designed to break heroes, where every other species has produced both Jedi and Sith, where temptation finds everyone, where even the chosen one fell, there's one family that holds the line. Every single time. Not because they can't feel darkness. Yoda confronted his shadow self. Grogu used a Force choke. Minch nearly fell on Dagobah. They feel everything any Sith ever felt. They just choose differently. The family code is simple. You protect, you heal, you hold the line. You do not flip. 6 members, 4,000 years, 0 defectors. That's not a coincidence. That's not a plot hole. That's Star Wars telling us something it can't say out loud. That choosing light is possible, even against every reason to fall. Even when you've watched everything you loved burn. Even when the entire galaxy is telling you that revenge is the answer. 6 small green beings have been quietly proving across the entire saga that the family holds. Not because the light side is stronger, not because it's easier, because some made guys just don't flip. That's the real power of Yoda's species. Don't try to solve the mystery, just appreciate it. The Green Mafia is undefeated, and the operation continues.